Hey everyone, I'd like to welcome you to this video. I'd like to show you how we can use the online version of Excel Office 365 to complete the P&Ls in entrepreneurship. And again, this is for people who may not have Excel loaded on their computers, or maybe you're using a Mac and instead of using numbers, I think it just might be easy to do this and keep everything on the same platform. So what I'm going to do is back up here, and we have to worry about only really one file and how we want to utilize that. So in the P&L, I give you three different files. The history file is simply where you have to go back and filter, and we're going to have to use the Office version of 365, the online version, to do that. I give you a PDF that has basic information such as sales, cash sales, credit, any type of invoices, taxes collected, with just data that we want to copy over. But really the big file that we have to start with is the current month's sales. And the reason that we need to look at that is we need to add in and factor in the cost of the merchandise we sold. So really I have three columns typically at the end that I've got to create a formula for, and we're going to work on that. In the assignment, I indicated that you should download those three files and put them on your desktop or maybe in your download folder. I think if you're using Office 365 to do this, I would make a folder on your OneDrive, and I'll go through that process right now where you can store these files and you can have an updated copy then every time. So what I want you to do is I'd like you to log into Office 365. So just open up Chrome, do a search for Office 365 login. Login, use your CVSD username, your email address, your student number, and go ahead and log in. New for 2020, you may have a two-form identification request where you might have to put in like maybe your cell phone number, where they can text you a number that you can put in to verify that it's you. If that comes up, please do so, and that way you can verify that and move on. And eventually you get back to a screen that I have up here now where you can have your access to your 365. And I use this all the time, so I do have some files up here already that you can see, but essentially it's going to be the starting launching block for 365. Now, to copy your files from your computer out to OneDrive, what I would do is with your navigation along the left-hand side, you got all your apps out there. You want to come on down to OneDrive, and it's about 2/3 of the way down on the left side. Click on OneDrive, and I'm going to make a folder. I like to keep things organized. Notice I have it sort of grouped together by maybe my classes, my project, whatever I'm working on here. I'm going to go up to the very top. There's a new tab or a new button here. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to make a new folder. And I'm just going to call this maybe Entre P&L. So I know everything here is related to the P&L assignments that we're doing. Open the folder up. Now, my file is sitting on my desktop. Yours might be in your download folder, wherever it might be on your computer. I'm going to slide this window over so I can see half of my screen. So here's my current month's sales. I'm just going to drag and pull that over here into that folder. I would do the same thing for the EMP sales history, because you're going to need to have access to that. If you've downloaded it, it could be in your download folder. So if I go to my downloads and take a look for that, again, it should be listed out here. And again, I did this last week. So again, here's my sales history right here. Again, what I could do is just take this file here. If I make my window half, you can drag this in here. So then you can utilize and access these files. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. And if you're here in OneDrive, all you have to do is just click and open that up with the online version of Excel in Office 365. Essentially, we have to go back and plug in formulas for columns L, M, and N. I do want to draw your attention over here in column C. Do you see where you have these number signs? That means that the column's too small. So if I come up between the letters C and D, if I double click up there, it should automatically adjust, or if I can manually make that a little bit bigger, it should take away those number signs. Notice I just drug that to the right a little bit and made that column wider so I can see all my SKU numbers on there. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to take a look at the net items sold. I want to fill in formulas for columns L, M, and N in this case. What I have to do in the first one, again, the logic is the same as what we did on the videos for the full-blown version of Excel. We're taking items sold plus items refunded. So we're going to build a formula. Equals items sold, which is in cell E2. I have to type in the plus sign, my operator. Click on items refunded, which is in cell G2. Now, please don't type in the cell locations. I want you to click on that. Once you do that, hit enter. Because I have this table or this worksheet set up that we're using a table, it should automatically fill down from the very first item here to the very bottom. So it should automatically fill all those in. There's a lot of ones down here at the very bottom, so I'm all the way down here at 97. If for some reason, if it didn't, you can go back to the first box here and then fill down manually. Just pull that down all the way through to row 97. That's using your fill handle. And again, because my numbers filled down automatically, I don't have to worry about that, but I wanted to show you how you can do that. The other thing here is I notice, I'm talking about items in the store. I don't need decimal places. So I'm going to click on column L. On my home tab of my ribbon up here, I'm going to go to my number category. And there's two rows in the very bottom. I'm going to click on my decrease decimal place twice to make these to be whole numbers, because there's no need to have decimal places in that case. So that will take care of that item sold. Now what we want to do is we want to go back and look at the item cost. This is where you got to use the VLOOKUP function, and this becomes a little bit harder using this online version. Again, that's why it's free. But we still can go back and we can utilize this and get this done. What I recommend that you do is click on cell M2, come up to your ribbon up here, and there's a little FX button here that will put a function in. Click on that. We'll get a dialog box up. And I'm going to go to the category, just like we did on the ribbon in the other version of Excel. I'm going to look for lookup and reference. And then I'm going to scroll through that list of possible functions that fall within that category. And I'm going to pick VLOOKUP and click on OK. Now this is where, again, it becomes a little trickier, because I have to know like what goes where with this. So I'm going to come up to my formula bar and click up here. And unfortunately, this little window does sometimes overlap with that, but I'm going to pull that down. Do you notice how lookup value is in bold print right now? So that's what it's looking for in this case. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the SKU and cell C2. So I'm going to click here. Now there's nothing there in this case, but I want that to plug in to the formula, and I want you to click on the formulas opposed to typing that in. So I'll type in C2 and I'm done. I'm ready for my next step. So to get to the next step, I have to click on or type in the comma. So there's some things I want you to type in, some things I want you to click on. Notice how it goes back to table array. This is the table that has all the values or my numbers I want to go back and look up for my cost. And I have my worksheet down here called inventory cost. So after I type in the comma, I'm going to click on my tab, inventory cost. I'm going to scroll back to the beginning, and I'm going to select my entire workbook here. So I'm going to come all the way down to row 749, let that select, and plug that in. As it's scrolling down, again, try not to click on anything else. Do this all in one motion. Again, it's sort of just a little monotonous until it actually selects everything. But again, you just want to make sure you have the entire table selected here. Still scrolling down, almost there. Again, we're looking for 749. Again, as we add more items to the store, this will change. I might delete some older things. There's some things in here that we haven't had in stock for a long time. Okay, so that selects my table array. One thing I want to do now to make sure this doesn't change on anything that we do here, I am going to hit or strike F4 on this. So what I did is once I selected the table, I went to the very top of my keyboard and hit F4. Now, if you're using a Mac, you may have to actually type these in. Notice up here how there's a $sign before the A, there's a $sign before the 1, and a $sign before the I, and then a $sign before the 749. That just locks it in so it doesn't change. So when I fill down to my other cells below that, it's always going to be the same table. So at this point, I'm done with that. However, I have two more steps on this. So I have to hit comma and come over to my column index number. And in this case, it's simply going to be 7. Now, what does that 7 mean? It means in this table, cost is the 7th column over. So if I start over here at SKU and count over, it's 7. The last thing I'm asking you to do for the range lookup, again, notice how that's bold. I'm going to type in the word false. You do not have to worry about capitalization, but you have to worry about spelling that. And then you want to hit your ending parenthesis above the 0 to end that formula. Once you have that, hit enter, and it should fill all the way down through your table. If you have to manually fill it down, by all means, go back and do that. For total cost, then, you simply have to take your net items sold times your individual cost of the item. So again, equals net items sold. You have to type in the operator, the asterisk, type in your item cost, which is in cell M2, hit your enter, and it should fill all those in. Now, again, because you're using OneDrive, this is automatically saved as you do this. So pretty much at this point, you can exit. Now we can go back and start doing the filters within this. So again, the next step would be looking to find out, all right, I want to find all the gym clothes. So I can go back to category here, okay, and then do text filters. Again, it becomes a little bit more difficult where I can do another filter. Here's my different categories that are in there. I can hit select all, go to PE uniforms and click on OK. So now it only shows this, and you can repeat the process here. Okay, I need to plug in my net sales. So if I click on column J, it tells me down here in my status bar I have a sum of 22. If I highlight total cost, which is what I need in that gray box in my P&L, okay, so I highlight column L, now it says 1790, and you're ready to go on to the next category. Notice up here for category, there's a little funnel indicating that it's filtered. Click on that, go to filter, select all, and then again remove and then get ready for the next round. Hopefully this video helps you out using Office 365. It's not that much different. I think the biggest thing is when you start working with the more advanced functions like VLOOKUP, it's a little bit more tricky. It's easier, I think, to learn it in the other version, but once you get it, it's fine. You can always refer back to the video for more instructions. Thanks again.